Oh, he's not alright. He's all tied up. Shit.
Edgar, can you hear me?
Jonathan, is it really you?
Easy. Easy. Save your strength. I'm getting you out of here.
Don't try to spare me. As a physician, I know all too well when it's too late. Punctured lung, broken ribs, and internal bleeding. An accurate diagnosis, wouldn't you say?
Edgar, what happened?
The Pruin happened.
They wanted me to confess. Beat me black and blue.
Geoffrey McCullum ambushed me at the Pembroke Hospital. He was convinced you and I were responsible for the Skal epidemic.
I never imagined that self-righteous fanatic would dare to attack us in the open. What became of him?
To prove him wrong, I let him go.
Really? Are you sure that was the wisest course of action?
Time will tell. The most intriguing part of his accusation was that you and I were the pawns of some ancient vampire.
William Marshall. Yes, they tortured me to make me confess the same nonsense.
Edgar, as much as I would like to believe you, I have a few concerns that require clarification.
What do you mean?
William Marshall, for example. You speak of him as if you know him. How is that?
Jonathan, I cannot say I'm ready for another round of questions.
You all too bad.
What can you tell me about William Marshall?
Not much. History paints the story he was the greatest knight who ever lived. Amongst the immortals, he had a yet greater legend.
Why would he deserve such a reputation?
I cannot say. The Brotherhood of St. Paul's Stole has next to no intelligence on him. All I know is that he's supposed to be the oldest of all the British vampires.
Alright, but he's not the first British vampire, right? He's just like the oldest surviving one.
Why is the Guard of Priwen so obsessed with him?
He was the only ancient vampire to escape the first great hunt launched by the Guard of Priwen in 1854. They believe he's an evil creature plotting his return.
Right. Okay. If it turns out that he's the one who made us, I'm gonna be kind of annoyed. I don't need the oldest vampire to have been the one who made me.
Why would the Guard of Priwen believe you and I created the vampire epidemic?
Maybe due to our profession. Because I offered you shelter at my hospital.
Yeah, I mean, I could see why they would believe a couple things about us.
While investigating the epidemic, I read some of McCullum's findings. I think you have some explaining to do.
I have nothing to hide, Jonathan. Nothing at all.
Do you know Doris Fletcher's real name?
No, I'm afraid not.
Her real name was Doris Jones. She was the daughter of Harriet Jones.
What do you want me to say, Jonathan?
Well, if you knew, then that would be pretty important.
Do you remember when we suspected Sean Hampton of killing Harriet Jones?
Yes. The terrible episode that came as a shock to us all.
Harriet Jones faked her own death. When I found her in the sewers, she confessed she wanted everybody to pay for what happened to her.
That woman was extremely bitter, full of hatred and festering anger.
Or maybe she was infected all along!
Doris Fletcher visited her mother at the Pembroke Hospital. That's how she first got infected.
I know nothing about that. Miss Fletcher once came to visit the sick. That is all I know.
No, Edgar, there is more. Doris Fletcher was Harriet Jones's daughter. They exhibited the same symptoms: blind hate and strong physical mutation.
What does this sad story have to do with us?
That means that means that the origin of this contagion was from the hospital somewhere.
Come on, Edgar. Don't you see the pattern here? The epidemic, the link between Doris and Harriet, the suspicion of McCullum.
How could I? I never saw Harriet Jones again after she fled the hospital.
We are being a little super accusy, but we need to find some information out.
Do you know where we are? Doris Fletcher's theater. This is where that hateful creature plotted to spread the epidemic across London.
I only briefly met Miss Fletcher once when she visited the Pembroke Hospital. You say it was to see her mother. She seemed like such a sweet and graceful woman.
My point exactly. The disease turned her into a bitter soul, driven by vengeance just like her mother, a symptom of all the infected patients.
Certain diseases are known to produce similar effects. Rabies, for example. And rabies is not the devil at work.
But I wouldn't call this, which would actually legitimately turn them into skulls, like rabies.
Doris and Harriet shared more than a hidden family bond. They were the embodiment of the epidemic and are linked to the Pembroke Hospital. Come on, Edgar, this is no coincidence.
I swear I'm at a complete loss. All I did was administer vampire blood to cure old Harriet. There was no evil plan, no diabolical plot.
What?
You did what?
I tested the regenerating and healing properties of vampire blood on Harriet Jones. My only intention was to find the cure for influenza, I swear.
Whose blood did you use? William Marshall's? Mine?
Lady Ashbury's. While transfusing her with human blood, humanely appeasing her hunger, I also kept samples of her blood for my research.
You used her blood on Harriet Jones? My God, Edgar, that's unethical. You betrayed 2 of your patients at the same time.
Wow.
I made a mistake. But what is science if not trial and error? We both know it, Jonathan, we both know it.
What a poor justification for your morbid fascination and thirst for glory.
You have worked beside me. You saw what I'm doing at Pembroke Hospital. Jonathan, you know I'm not an evil soul. Just another victim of this tragedy.
Let die, you deserve it. Embrace, I'll make your death quicker. Turn, you're not gonna die. Oh my God, I don't actually, I was just gonna, ooh. Oh shit. I don't actually know what I want to do here. I was hoping we'd talk to him a little bit more. This is, using vampire blood on somebody is a lot different from using like an experimental treatment that's super risky, because making a vampire is a much more dangerous thing, and as we can see, that didn't work out. Although it's interesting to see that Lady Ashbury's blood turns them into a worse kind of skull. Oh boy. I don't know what I want to do here. I'm not going to embrace him. I'm not going to kill him. But I also don't really want to let him die. I also don't want to let him turn into a vampire. Oof. God, I really don't know what I want to do here. Should I let him die because he's technically the start of the epidemic? He's not a bad person, like he said. He's definitely fuck it. I'm turning him into a vampire. Goodbye, 3000 experience. It was nice knowing you.
No, Edgar, you are not going to die. Unless you want to.
What do you mean?
I can save you, Edgar. I can turn your broken body into one like mine.
You truly would? after all I've done, after all that's been said, you would offer me this gift?
I have no way of knowing which punishment would be worse, Edgar. But it is not for me to decide. So?
Oh, please, Jonathan, please. I beg you. This is what I've always wanted. This is what I've always searched for.
Very well, then. Prepare to die and be reborn. To face an eternity of guilt.
I'm ready. Oh, indeed, I am ready.
Enough!
Okay, Dr. Swansea. We've saved your life. Destroy Harriet Jones, the source of the Skulls epidemic. Really? Killing her, huh? Let's see. Oh, we failed a hint. Edgar used Lady Ashbury's blood to conduct illicit experiments on Harriet Jones. Well, I'm surprised we're failing the hint considering he's about to become immortal. Whew. I can't believe he was still like, I don't know why anyone would think I did anything wrong. All I did was give vampire blood to someone without them knowing. Jeez. We gotta tell Lady Ashbury what's going on. Maybe she already suspects it. Maybe she feels it, right? Technically, that would make Lady Harriet Jones her progeny. But I'm not fully sure
Return later.
how much control that really gives her.
So Harriet Jones became the original carrier when Edgar gave her vampire blood.
Oh shit.
I must tell Elizabeth.
Stupid things!
Yeah, I'll make my way over there. Ooh, boy.
Kill it all you deserve!
Things are troublesome out here. Everyone's 6 levels higher above, or 7, and that's not good for my health. Son of a bitch! He's stun locking me on this metal. I don't even know what this is called. They had me all trapped up. Okay. Let's go talk to Lady Ashbury. What chapter are we on? Chapter 6. Oh boy. We've definitely super progressed. I'm surprised we still haven't met our maker yet. Will it even be possible? Are they planning to make this a series and make it like a really long, drawn-out thing for us to meet our maker? Like Vampyr 2! It takes place in the 1940s, during World War II. That's how you meet your maker. I guess it would depend on what kind of ending we can get here. Lady Ashbury, we've got a lot of bad news to talk about. Oh, look at her mesmerized level. Mesmerized 20. I don't think it's possible for us to get to that.
What good fortune brings you back to me, Jonathan?
Bad news. Your progeny's
What is it,
what
my
started the infection.
I'm afraid it's bad news, Elizabeth. The worst, actually.
Please, speak up.
Edgar is no longer in McCullum's grasp. I resolved that matter.
Where is our good friend now? Is he well?
Of a sort. His injuries were mortal. I had no choice but to make him one of us. To save him. Or to punish him.
To punish him? I fail to understand. And what is the source of this cold tone in your voice?
Edgar Swansea was responsible for the Skal epidemic, Elizabeth. It was he who unleashed the deadly scourge upon London.
What? Are you certain? This is the most terrible accusation of all.
He confessed everything to me. He sought to cure the disease, to exploit vampire blood to stop the epidemic. But he unwittingly gave birth to a catastrophe.
All those poor victims. How could he do it? What happened?
He was a criminal. He gave no heed to ethics. He was stupid. I'm gonna say that.
Edgar's behavior was beyond lunacy. He had neither the discipline, knowledge, nor the proper facilities to conduct blood experiments.
I must say I'm shocked, Jonathan. Who would have thought it? And the poor patient. Let me guess. It was Harriet Jones, was it not?
Yes. That explains how Doris Fletcher was infected, and how she became an Icor. She secretly visited her mother at Pembroke.
Then we have no choice. We must act quickly, Jonathan. We must return to the sewers and put an end to the threat poor Harriet embodies.
I have one more matter to discuss with you. Harriet Jones was the primary case, but do you know what a healthy carrier is?
There is a tone in your voice that frightens me, Jonathan. What are you trying to say?
It was your blood Edgar used for his experiment on Harriet Jones.
What? No. No. This can't be. Oh.
Elizabeth, are you all right?
No, I have to go.
What do you mean?
Leave me alone. Save the city, Jonathan. Save what can be saved.
Elizabeth, I need answers. Why did your blood
Stay
cause
away
this?
from me. Please. I swear I never was your enemy.
Wait! No! Elizabeth!
Well, it's a shame we can't just, I don't know, use our similar powers to give chase. Shit. Gather the ingredients for the antidote. Obtain a drop of William Marshall's blood from Lord Redgrave. Obtain a drop of King Arthur's blood from Geoffrey McCullum. Search for insulin at the old morgue of the Pembroke Hospital. Well, I'm glad they just gave me all that information. That definitely narrows things down. So I wonder what has her freaked out. Is it purely the fact that she has a progeny that she didn't expect and didn't want? Or does she know?
Now would be a good time to blend the recipe Marshall used when he fought the disaster. I think I know where to find what I need.
Yeah, okay. So we gotta head to many different places. This is a last mission kind of fucking thing for us to do here. Okay. We'll make our way up West End into Pandora's box, since we might as well. But yeah, maybe she's freaking out just because her blood is the equivalent of the disaster, which is obviously a bad thing. No one wants to be accidentally capable of creating an epidemic. Did she start the Spanish influenza period?
Whose blood could be purer than that of William Marshall? Lord Redgrave will have to spare me a drop.
I wonder if he's gonna agree to that.
You are not welcome.
I need to get in!
You are not welcome.
It's always been your house.
How am I gonna get a drop of William's blood when I don't have access to the Ascalon Club? There's gotta be the possible backdoor entrance. Also, Karina, hello.
Rats.
Anything here?
Have you recent news of Aloysius Dawson?
He is dead, I've heard. I wish I was dead too.
Okay, good to know. Goodbye, Karina. Sad we can't help you with your vampire issues. Will they check the back door? We'll see. Nope. Wow, what an obvious security flaw. I was able to legitimately just barge right in.
I'm still persona non grata in the Ascalon Club.
Whoa!
I want to speak with you.
Yeah, I have to fight my way through here with enemies being, oh my god, 10 levels above me. Ow! Aha! Get buried! Even though I didn't really need to do that. Woo, yeah! It's all about the big risks now. Woo, almost got hit again. Hold on, I'm healing. Ow! No! I have to kill him before my blood takes full effect! How many more vampires are here? Hopefully not a lot. Lord Redgrave! We need to have a conversation, you and I.
Good evening, Lord Redgrave.
What are you doing here, traitor? I shall smite you for this audacity.
I'm not here to bicker, Lord Redgrave. I can put an end to this epidemic, but I need your assistance to do so.
Good. We've held out thus far, but the time has come to put an end to this crisis. Tell me, what do you need?
The blood of William Marshall.
The blood of William Marshall? Of my maker? Are you mad? This blood is the purest of all. My maker proffered it to me on the battlefield. I cannot hand it to you.
This is the city's last hope!
This is more important than the club, you, or me. This is London's last hope.
I see. Well, in that case, given the gravity of the situation, I suppose I can spare you a drop.
Thank you, my lord.
If you manage to save this city, you'll prove yourself a veritable servant of the crown. So Godspeed, Dr. Reed. Our fate lies wholly in your hands.
That went smoothly. Thankfully. Had to kill an Ascalon vampire in the middle of all that, but that's okay. We made do. I need to spend my points. So that way, maybe I can gain 1 level. Unfortunately, I didn't, because I had to turn Swansea. I kind of got screwed over a little bit. I'm gonna have to spend my points on things I don't really care that much about. Well, I'm gonna have to spend my points on side abilities rather than the main stuff. Ow. I just want to fight level 35 enemies while being so low level.
Fuck, he's dead!
Ow. You ruined it, man. Things are going great. I have to use my healing. Okay. Do we have enemies back here? Rogue Volcod. What the fuck is that doing behind my house? Well, I'm not gonna bother dealing with it. No point. Okay. So I don't have enough points to upgrade, say, my claws to 6,000, Jesus. Or my Shadow Mist, that's 4,500. So yeah. I basically have to throw my points down into some of these other things, and they're high enough level that I can only really do it once. This is a shame. Once for each. So I have to be very aware of what I want here. So my biggest issue is endurance. I could spend 2,000 points on endurance, or I could suck it up. I mean, but this would give me, going down this would give me 2 times the endurance, and that would help me out drastically. Basically. Or rather, I'd get 40% more endurance than what I currently have, and that's pretty good. Or I could just give myself a hell of a lot of blood capacity. Or make it so that I can get more blood back from enemies. Oof. Health would also be pretty good. It kind of is really unfortunate that right now I have such low health. But I just don't have the points. I'm gonna take the big risk. I'm gonna take the big risk and go for stamina and blood absorption. And then one of these. I don't need biting damage. Actually, how much does it cost for my next ability? 2,700? Yeah, we're not getting that. Okay. I could do physical prowess. Or I could upgrade my health. $50 more health would be nice. I'm gonna go for endurance. And then if I can find 600 XP in such a short amount of time, then yeah, we'll go for health or something. Or if it's more like 1,500, then we'll worry about that. About accidental deaths. The inhabitants of London live in fear of physicians, delayed interventions, barefaced favoritism, and strange experimental treatments. The scarcity of professionalism is crystallized in Pembroke Hospital, Whitechapel, where deontology was discharged a long time ago. The Pembroke administration hides behind a facade of dedication and rectitude, but those of us who know any of their patients or worse were among them are aware of their deceit. In this temple devoted to dread, you will have to pay to get a bed. You will catch illnesses you never knew existed, and your corpse will be relieved of its possessions in the morgue. Here, patients die overnight of wounds they never bore upon their arrival, and they call them accidents. I briefly interviewed Dr. Swansea, head of administration, declaimed a pedantic timor mortis conturbant me, fear of death confounds me, before forcing us out of establishment. Quotes in Latin will not be enough to keep us away from their morbidity. Volunteers are welcome to join me tomorrow morning in front of the hospital to demand clear facts about the state of this medical institution. Come in numbers. Jeez. But, you know, Dr. Swan's is alive. You don't have to worry about the pillar being dead. Oh my gosh. Oh. Okay. Everyone was sick, but they got fixed. They got better. Oh. Aloysius Dawson might be a little bit different. A highly respected resident of the city district passed away last night. Aloysius Dawson, co-founder and head of the Dawson & Dawson Company at 71 years of age. It was no secret that Mr. Dawson's health had recently declined. The once joyful businessman had almost totally disappeared from social events since the tragic death of his twin brother. An influential man, Aloysius Dawson was also a great art collector and a concerned philanthropist. Recently, he had campaigned for an audacious plan to save London from the Spanish flu by raising a quarantine wall to separate the districts and contain the epidemic. But only a few hours before his death, the magnate had given orders to cancel the construction of the wall. More surprisingly, large donations of money have been received by all major London hospitals, while equally important contributions have been made to smaller clinics and dispensaries. Does it mean Aloysius Dawson, a man known for his fortitude and conservative opinions, was finally touched by grace? Who could say? Only one thing is certain. All over the city, thanks to that man's late generosity, stocks of medical supplies have been replenished, and the death toll has significantly been lowered in the last 24 hours. No doubt hundreds of grateful citizens will be at the St. Mary churchyard to accompany the final journey of their benefactor. Is that why everybody got healed, even though they were like all sick? Nice. But we lost a pillar. But I didn't want to risk turning him and making him a really bad person. Now, if I could get XP for every single person being healed, that'd be pretty great, but it doesn't look like that's happening. Okay. Actually, is there anything I need to upgrade? I don't think so. We pretty much have everything maxed out. Ooh. William Marshall's memoirs. A few ancient and torn off vellum pages taken from William Marshall's memoirs. This is gonna give me the antidote, right? Yeah, okay. Dose of insulin. Well, let me make some blood things. I don't even know if I can have more than 100 blood. Hold on. I can have 135 blood. So this would get me back from like complete emptiness. I guess I could just have multiple of these. So we'll make some blood serums like this. And we'll just, in the middle of a battle, be aware of what I might possibly need. If I'm really screwed on health, then we turn to our emergency supplies. But that's gonna depend on what we run into, honestly. Oh my god, look how quickly we burn through this. Alright. Everything's fine on that. Two-handed weapon, everything's fine on that. That's okay. And then we have Milton's shotgun, which is also fine. I could also throw my points into here, because then I could do more damage against vampires and beasts, and honestly, that's what probably... It's an interesting risk. The problem is I don't know how much more damage would be done because of fire damage. There's no, like, clear, evident thing here. We'd just be reducing our damage by, like, 50 to 60 on my shotgun. But I only use my shotgun in really desperate situations, and most of the time I find that those desperate situations have been against vampires. Because those guys are rough to go against. If I have the resources here, which I don't, by the looks of it, then I would have gone for the fire damage. But, don't have the resources. Oh well.